Welcome in, gang. So Coach made 3.5 hours worth of videos. One that was 2 hours and 47 minutes, and another one that was 47 minutes long, and they both had the audio corrupted. So Coach's gonna have to do a lot of catching up to try to be able to express to you all the stuff that he sniffed out, and it's dense. There's a ton of it. It's a lot of fun. We're gonna have to break it down bite size and do it a little bit by a little bit. So it's gonna be a lot more videos than just one or two, like I was thinking, right? But let's stick with Gina Carano and Rousey. I already gave you a short if you hadn't seen it. That was a laundry list of reasons why I think Gina's going to beat Rousey, or why I believe it, I should say, not think, I truly believe. Almost no hesitancy on that pick. Like, when you really think about it, there's so much more heat for Gina than for Rousey, and it would make more sense historically. Anyways, looking at it forwards, backwards, I'm really not worried about this one for Gina.
World champions, but I truly believe that some people are born fighters, and Gina Carano is the perfect example of that. She comes from an extremely wealthy family. They own Caesar's Palace. They own most of the casinos up in Reno. They're part owners of the Carano wine, right? They own Caesar's Palace. They own most of the casinos up in Reno. They're part owners of the Carano wine.
And her dad's a professional football player, and this and that. Her grandfather's Donald Carano. Yeah, she's hooked up, yo. Right, that's the type of people you want to be in bed with, and so especially in the fight game. Right, this goes to a decision. You think they're gonna give it to Ronda? She's a casino baby, Gina here. I don't think so. Right, Ronda's got to finish her to get this decision. Gina needs the comeback more. She never got the shine that Ronda did. Her praise is way overdue. Now she's been getting cooked up. She's a darling of the right wing, of course, because Donald Trump's president, right, and her grandfather's Donald. So they run to her defense in the Disney debacle with the Star Wars stuff. Of course, Star Wars had to get sold for that to even happen, right? So big crazy series of events to even lead to some, the heiress of a casino fortune, basically, coming head to head with Rousey. And this chick happened to be like the pioneer of the sport even before Rousey, when everybody thinks of Rousey as like the true day one. Gina retired after losing to Cyborg. Cyborg is the one calling out Rousey now, so Rousey can beat Cyborg, then they can hook up Gina and Cyborg. Gina can get Cyborg back too, put Cyborg in her place, set up a Gina Carano and Rousey rematch probably, and eventually do a trilogy when they're both the collective age of 100, just like they're going to do with Floyd and Pacquiao. Part 3 is going to be when they're both exactly 100 years old combined, now 3 years from now. And it's long way coming for these two gals, so they're still in their late 30s. So they're gonna have a pretty long run here. Now, yeah, we're not gonna go off topic. Sorry, Coach wanted to really talk about something he's excited about, but we're just gonna leave that be, and I'll make that a separate video. So, let's see. So this is her dad. It was a QB for the Cowboys, played for the Rebels in college. Was on the Maulers in the USFL, right? GM of properties, and also some sort of like casino executive, right? Straight out of Dana's mouth, you heard that they own them. So he was Super Bowl champion. His coach was Eddie LeBaron, right? Remember LeBaron Trump? Isn't that interesting, right? And this dude's dad's named Donald. There's a Ron right there, so there's your Ronald. We got Ronaldo winning and Ronda Rousey's in this fight, so of course, Gina's dad's coach was Ron, and Gina's gonna fight Ronda. Duh. So there you go. Let's see. I didn't look over all this, to be honest with you. It's just stuff I just snapped just to make sure I had it in case anything popped up. There's another Ed, right? So Edward, and Ronda's coach is Edmund, and Sean Strickland is played by Ed Norton, and Rousey's friends with Ed Norton, and of course Ed Norton was in American History X, which is Sean Strickland, right? He's all about the American History X vibe. So it's Ed Norton with Edward Furlong. So Ed and Ed were in that movie together, of course. Let's see. His father, Donald Lewis Don Carano. So there you go. So I wasn't lying to you. And Coach will go back over his other reasons here. So this was Dante Stanley asked why Coach thinks Gina's going to win. Rousey is so heavily favored. Coach doesn't pay attention to the odds at all. I never even look at that shit unless it's making me money, right? Like I'll if they're going to pay me more for a result I like, then that's fine. But I'm not going to base it off what the odds are. What I put in, I'm not going to base off what the odds are. Gina was a pioneer of women's MMA and Strikeforce back when Dana White was still saying there would never be a women's UFC division. Gives her an argument once the dust has settled that Gina is the true GOAT. So yeah, basically, if you can't start this fight any later than now, right? Especially if you're going to do a rematch in a trilogy, right? It's got and if they want it to be interesting, they got to make people know who Gina is. Ronda's in way better position to put Gina over than what does Ronda beating Gina do? That's why people sell you really good fights are going to be stinkers, especially when they know you're going to buy anyways. Like people are going to buy Rousey. People are going to buy Mayweather, right? But they tell you it's going to be boring because they want you to think it's going to be the same shit that always happens. Oh, Rousey's just going to win. Oh, Mayweather's just going to win. Yeah, he's risking the 50-0 just to go 51-0, right? That's what fake boxing's all about. Just boring shit that makes no sense. And why would Pacquiao deserve it? He's only like the greatest fighter of this fucking millennium. Right, that already got fucking dodged his whole career by this piece of shit. Pacquiao already beat about Billions Broner. He can't beat Money Mayweather, right? I'm not going to go into a big thing there, right? But that was basically stuff has to make sense forwards and backwards, and this is one that you can look back at after Rousey goes on a killing spree and be like, she lost to Gina? Who's that? And you're like, oh, you don't know who Gina Carano is? She was basically Rousey before Rousey. Of course she beat Ronda. They had a great trilogy. So there's so much you can do here. But yeah, it gives you got to give the Rousey haters a chance to come up and be loud right now and stupid. Right? There's not enough people being loud and stupid. Even Strickland saying she's just gonna roll Gina. So when she loses to Gina, he's not going to be like, oh, it's because Gina's so good. He's be like, yeah, Rousey's completely washed. What a joke. He couldn't even beat a Never Was. She couldn't even beat a Never Was in Carano. You know what I mean? So, like another spoiler here. So this is what Coach thinks they're really ultimately cooking up. So Coach, oh man, there's so much that got cut out. Holy shit. Okay, so basically they're getting rid of all the weight divisions and genders. Right, you're going to have anybody be able to fight anybody when all this is done, and the UFC is getting killed completely. There's going to be no UFC. It's going to be that Jake Paul shit. And fighters are going to actually get big pays, and people are going to be happier, blah, blah, blah. And it's going to be fair. When you think about it, weight divisions and gender separation in sports is literally way past dinosaur, archaic, horse shit, biased, whatever you want to call it, sexist. Literally think about, we figured out separate but equal didn't work a long time ago, right? Why did we integrate schools? It's the same reason we're going to integrate the weight classes. It's the same reason we're going to integrate the divisions. It's because we're not fucking savages. It's because we don't just automatically assume you're better because you weigh 200 pounds and have a dick. You get me? Right? So Rousey's going to set them all straight when she fucks up Strickland, because Strickland's going to be the heavyweight champ at the time. He's going to jump up a couple more divisions and clear them all out. That's why John Jones and Francis Ngannou aren't there. She's not. I'm not saying Rousey's going to go out and knock out Ngannou. That's stupid. Why would they do that? Ngannou never bothered anybody, right? You can still give the macho idiots an excuse. Oh, well, it's because Ngannou or Jones would have poked her eye out. Whatever, right? But everybody's going to want to see Strickland get knocked out, and they're going to get it. And nobody's going to believe in it enough to put any money on it. They're all going to, and that's the beauty of Strickland the whole way too. Until he's the champ and has the bandwagon full, nobody's going to want anything to do with him because they keep selling you him as an underdog, right? And keep telling you, basically saying all this offensive stuff that anybody in the center to left is not going to like someone who kind of leans into some white supremacy type stuff, anti-women stuff. You're kind of, and even on the alt-right, there's still women there. So even they've turned on him, right? They anybody who's going to watch him fight probably likes Ronda Rousey. You know what I'm saying? It's a stupid move from a popularity standpoint. Yeah, it's getting him clicks and stuff, and people do know who he is. But it's good from a popularity standpoint. It's not good from a favorability standpoint, right? It's kind of like the Charles Barkley thing. Why didn't he ever get a ring? One of those things. So, Strickland's an idiot. He's a loudmouth idiot. That's his character, right? So when he says Gina's going to get rolled by Rousey and it's a snoozer, it's going to be a fucking banger, and Rousey's losing. like almost certainly, right? And that Rousey's going to eventually shut him up, because why the fuck are you even talking about this fight? You got no business talking about this fight, especially not in the way you're talking about it. You want to erase the entire fucking women's division? You know what, Sean? I think you're right. We should get rid of the women's division, because I'm going to be in your fucking division, in your fucking nightmares, and make you retire, right? It's going to be one division, and I own it, right? Because I've been telling you all along, I'm the best fighter in the world. I told you I could knock dudes out. Everybody else told you I could knock dudes out. You laughed. So they backtracked. But I'm not backtracking. I'm still here to knock dudes out. Right? That's what Rousey's about. Y'all are going to fucking find out, I promise. Okay? So Rousey's going to knock some motherfuckers out, at least one dude, and it's going to change everything. And it's not just going to be that one thing, because I already told you Tyson is going to get rid of the ageism. Right? Because you're going to then be like, oh, wow, you can't. And not just him. I think maybe Iverson comes back at 50. Melo, not even close to 50. You know, he can easily come back. And then, of course, we got Tom Brady coming back for the 50-year-old run. Mayweather's about 50. They're already calling him 50. We got him losing, right? So people can make a big joke out of him, right? Like, how do you know? Like, they set up Mayweather and Tyson, right? How do you know Tyson's dropping that fight? Because what the fuck does Tyson beating Mayweather do for Tyson? Like, yeah, right now, old Tyson, any win's a good win. But historically, legacy, are you going to be like, man, that fight with fucking little-ass Floyd Mayweather, though, I can't believe Tyson pulled that off. Are you serious? You think that's when everything's going to turn around? No, Floyd gets that notch on his belt before his big humiliation ritual of getting ran out of the sport and getting knocked out by Jake Paul. Okay? And then when everybody's like, man, Tyson lost to Jake Paul and Mayweather, who beat Jake Paul, how, you know, what's he going to do? You know, that's why he just goes crazy, right? No more exhibitions. It's real fight time. Let's put the real records on the line. And he shows everybody what he's about. He knocks out everybody, including Tyson Fury, then loses to a guy that weighs 122 pounds soaking wet from Japan after even beating Terrence Crawford, right? So you're just like, what's this move down? Like, he's just going to fight someone even smaller? This is a joke. Like, you know, all the people who now say it's a complete, like, it's hysterical that Tyson could ever beat anybody. Those exact people are going to tell you it's hysterical to say he could lose when he fights this 122-pound dude, right? As soon as the bandwagon shifts and it's full steam, that's when things go polar opposite. That's when the coin flips, right? It's all designed that way. It's not a symptom, right? People are always getting fleeced because they're always late to the party. If you can see way ahead of this shit, you can ride the wave the whole time, up and down, and always be. It's pretty fucking obvious which way shit's gonna go, because there's certain things that cannot happen. You think like Gina's gonna just get knocked out here? Like, that's fucking stupid. Even Rousey getting knocked out's fucking stupid. I want a war. I need to know both these old bitches still got it. I need a war where they both survive, and probably a little bit of controversy in the result. You know, I want Rousey having at least I mean, honestly, I don't even care how Rousey does as long as she finishes. And even, to be completely honest with you, apart from a finish with blows to the head, I don't think she's in any sort of position to where a finish ruins her chances completely, as long as Gina follows through, like I said, and breaks into the UFC and gets a, you know, win or two, maybe like Cyborg, something like that. Like I think Gina's going on a tear as well, right? They're going to basically be 1-2. And then, oh yeah, this was the big thing I was cooking up though. It's like, because they're fucking movie stars. They're planning some sort of big movie with them, right? Eventually you'll have a movie with other actors who play these two. For sure, probably several. There's going to be one just about Rhonda, there's going to be one just about Gina, and there's going to be one about them together, and probably a bunch, right? They're going to make a billion movies about this shit, and documentaries, etc. But specifically, there's going to be some sort of fiction movie, a big summer blockbuster, probably with guns and all sorts of stuff, that Gina and Rhonda, Rhonda's probably the villain, or either one, right? One's the bad guy, one's the good guy. Either one works. They're both kind of facey, right? And both got an edge, so you can play either as the other, right? So they're enemies, or they're in some sort of yeah, I think they got to go against each other in the movie, because I really think they're at least at some point they have a fight scene against each other. Maybe they're on the same side, but at some point they have a little scrap, and they laugh about in the behind the scenes stuff. They're like, oh, it was so much more fun not getting hit by you for real. You know, I mean, oh gosh, in the ring it's a whole different. She's a menace, but in here she's a blast. We're just laughing and having a good time. You know how they fucking do.